Hi guys, I am Betül and today I will talk about some basic tips for assessing language skills and its chronological order, natural order, listening, speaking, then reading and writing. And there are four types of listening. First, the intensive listening. Intensive listening is to pay attention to specifics, such as phonemes, words, intonation, discourse analysis. And responsive listening in listeners are attentive, and we use this kind of to respond. For example, a teacher encourages the students by nodding, smiling, or using some expressions. For example, uh, we can say, I see, okay, uh-huh, you're right, etc. And third one is selective listening. We just focus on specific information like scanning. If there is a record and we listen to it, and there are some questions related to it, we just focus on the answers to answer the questions correctly. And there is a note here. Extensive listening means you will work to analyze what you hear. It's formal actually, but extensive listening is for fun. You don't have to analyze anything you hear. Okay, now basic types of speaking. We have 5 types here. First of all, imitative speaking. Imitative speaking and it's the other name parrot back. We can call it parrot back. This is the ability to imitate a word or a sentence. We can think about the babies. They hear a word and then they start to imitate it. Second one is intensive speaking. Intensive speaking is actually producing a limit of language in a highly controlled context. It's also formal, and this one is actually one step beyond imitative speaking to include any speaking performance. And third one, responsive speaking. And this is actually interaction at the somewhat limited level of a very short conversation, like greeting, asking directions, like what? We use this to respond a question, okay? And fourth one, interactive speaking. Interactive speaking is authentic, longer speeches. It's more complex than responsive speaking. Interactive speaking, we can give an example for it. Daily conversation. For example, we meet a friend and then we talk to them. So this is kind of interactive speaking and extensive speaking. It is also called monologue. We can call it monologue. Oral production. In storytelling, we use extensive speaking. Okay, now basic types of reading. Here we have 4 types: perceptive, selective, interactive, and extensive. Perceptive reading is actually teacher aims to know if students can read. We use bottom-up process here. And selective reading, like others speak selective tips, specific information. And this is called, this is including actually microskills, skimming, scanning, true false questions and form focus multiple choices can be an example. Examples for it. Interactive reading, third one. And this is actual negotiation of meaning. When you read interactively with kids, you encourage them to participate in talking about what's happening. It's a kind of interaction. And last types of reading is extensive reading. This is informal, and you can read whatever you read. Whatever you want, you can read. This type is for fun, for pleasure. It's up to you, whatever you want to read. And last one is writing performance. We have 4 types of writing performance. For example, first of all, imitative writing. Imitative writing focuses on the grammatical aspects. Form is the primary focus. Grammar is the most important thing in imitative writing. And intensive writing, it's controlled, formal, unlike extensive writing. Using writing as a central of learning. We can give example for this. It's kind of writing classes and extensive writing. This is informal writing. You can write, for example, dailies. You can write your dailies, whatever you had done in the morning, evening, etc. But intensive writing is formal, so essays can be examples for it. And responsive writing, it involves development of sentences into paragraphs. Actually, the purpose depends on the context or function of writing. Okay, now we will just talk about micro and macro skills. Some skills for listening. Actually, micro skills we can use production word for micro skills, because usually we use production, and macro skills is usually for understanding something. For example, listening, recognize reduced forms of word, distinguish word boundaries, etc. Macro skills use body language in first situations, recognize communicative functions of utterances. Like we said, macro skills recognize something, while macro skills is to understand something. In speaking, producing differences among allophones and phonemes, or chunks, fluent speech, these are micro skills. But macro skills is use appropriate styles, registers, conversation rules according to the person you speak. Reading, micro skills retain chunks, recognize grammatical word classes, nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, etc. And writing, micro skills, use cohesive devices, conjunctions, connectives, and pronouns are cohesive devices, and produce appropriate core of words. Appropriate word order patterns also. But reading macro skills infer context that is not expressed by activating schemata. Schemata means background information, and macro skills writing distinguish between literal and implied meanings when writing. These macro skills is also in reading macro skills, and writing correctly convey culturally specific references in the context of the written text. So to sum up, we can say that macro skills is generally about understanding something, while macro skills is producing and talking about different, basic simple things, phonemes, allophones, etc. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.